Uh-oh.
What happened?
There's no escaping now, Rhett.
What happened?
We're in the game, bro.
We're in the Matrix?
We are. Dude, what do you think about simulation theory?
I mean, obviously, Elon Musk, who is maybe the smartest. People debate if he's a freaking alien. Like, he's just so amazing. I still can't wrap my head around everything that I mean, it just to replace NASA was one of the most incredible things I've seen with SpaceX, and just the innovation that Elon Musk is ushering in. And I just got an update. It's Blake, I get like 150 updates a day. I normally get up like 6 in the morning so I can invest in equities. Right now, I think the market is phenomenal.
All right. Well, before we dive into that,
Yeah.
let's dial back some. I just wanted to see if you thought we lived in a. Do we live in a simulation? Do you think?
I mean, I believe Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior,
I
but
respect
not to
that.
get religious.
No, I respect that,
I
man.
understand that that's not
Just make sure
popular.
you stay right up in that mic.
Yeah,
bro.
of
There
course.
you go.
Yeah, I'm here.
Got you. Well, I think that's fair too, right? And when you start to talk about simulation theory, it kind of takes away, thousands of years of religion. So that's cool. But before we dive all the way in, I want to start this with a very simple: who are you, and what do you do?
Okay, my name, for anybody that doesn't know, my name is Rhett Tronti. I spent almost 2 decades in telecom B2B sales. I worked at Merrill Lynch at Palm Beach Island. Shout out to Merrill. And I've been unofficially really a financial advisor since I was the age of 15. My grandmother really gave me the vision. She had she didn't have much stress in her life. She had 3 horses, incredible lifestyle. One of the patriarchs of my family. Rest in peace, grandmother. I love you. And of course,
I'm sorry, Rhett. I'm having hold on. I'm having a bit of a technical difficulty here. I've got this awesome evil eye kava shell that is cracked and unfortunately is putting kava all over my desk here.
Right,
so I'm just gonna pause you. You hold that thought and we'll dial back. Please hold.
Absolutely. Steve. For those, Blake is very busy with customers and clientele right now. He's got a phenomenal following. I'm very grateful to Blake for believing in me and allowing me to come on here and pitch annuities, which is simply a retirement, is the extra revenue stream when you retire. So everybody needs that. That's clearly my age or younger. Everybody needs an extra revenue stream, and annuity is a fixed annuity is a way to accomplish that. Also, life insurance I sell, it's a living benefit life insurance. So it's, really at the end of the day, I'm kind of a solutions provider, right? So I help people retire 5 to 10 years younger than they anticipated. And everybody that's ever lived, I'm not always right, but I'm almost always right when it comes to investing. I have a private group. It's called ROI Kings percentage, because money is relative to everybody, right? So Blake is in my private group. I've got CPA. I've got a former NASA engineer that's in the group as well. A lot of smart people. Ken Close, Soraya Close. They're my mentors. And she's essentially my boss. But shout out to Soraya.
Yeah.
I hope you're doing well, Soraya.
Shout out
And,
Soraya. Thanks
Soraya.
for covering there for me. Sorry about that,
no.
dude.
Oh no, of course. It's nice to have you back.
Rhett, I need a guy like you more often. I can go
appreciate
take a
it.
break and you just keep it rolling.
Absolutely.
Okay. I'm so sorry about that, man.
Oh no.
So sorry. Let's get a little boolah in here.
Boolah, brother.
Boolah,
You know
man.
I love you, man.
Yeah, I love you too,
And,
man. I'm really looking forward to this conversation. And I'm sorry I got distracted. I was leaking kava all over the bar top here.
No.
So for those of you who are going to just tune in, we're going to kind of circle back a little bit here. Rhett, so your name is Rhett. Rhett, wow. I think that the gods are speaking tonight.
I
light
hope so.
Look at this.
You notice the illumination?
I got kava leaking.
The vibe,
No, the lights are flickering.
which is kind of cool.
You come with a special energy, Rhett.
Oh, I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Blake. My grandma always told me, what you think about, you bring about life, and I just try to bring good vibes and positivity. I try to help people retire earlier, not be a slave to their job or career. Have a good work-life balance, be healthy mentally. I mean, I know I'm in a situation where I'm trying to put on some muscle, so I'm working with some guys that I trust, and hopefully next time you see me on this podcast, I'll actually have bigger biceps.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
So I missed the last 10 minutes of your conversation. Who are you and what do you do?
My name is Rhett Samuel Tronti. I was actually born Rhett Butler Boyer, and then my real dad, my mom had me at 16, my dad was 18. So it was a very complex situation, and I was born in Riverside, California, and then I moved to Virginia with my grandmother to have a better life, really quality of life as a kid. To one of my grandmother owned 2 estates, and so she was gracious enough to rent out, to essentially give me a place to live for free and support me. And my grandmother always anticipated I'd be the patriarch of the family. And so that's what I tried to do. I'm just trying to live up to my grandmother's legacy.
Yeah.
Really. And, she had 1.5 million in the stock market, which isn't a ton of money. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's an incredible number, but she got paid quarterly dividends of $150,000 a year. That's taxable income. And she, as a revenue stream, which is what I'm trying to accomplish myself, is have a revenue stream in high dividend stocks where you can, like off real estate investment trusts, where you can receive, 10% dividends, and 10% dividend of 1.5 million, you're getting paid 150 grand a year, and you don't have any stress. You don't have anybody, you're not renting out a house. You don't have anybody telling you that they can't pay rent. My grandmother never had to experience that stress. I did, as being a long distance landlord. I've bought and paid for 2 houses, 4 cars in my life. Land.
Well, I don't want to go over the listener's head.
Yeah.
What is it that you do?
I sell annuities and life insurance.
Okay, what's an annuity?
So annuity is a retirement fund. Great question, by the way. Great question. So it's kind of based on your age, right? So, and how risk adverse you are. Obviously, the younger you are, the riskier you can be. So I do short-term trades on like calls. I shorted the SPY, S&P 500, 4 weeks ago, and I got 104% return ROI. But it's high risk. But if the reward is worth the risk, history favors the risk takers in life if you really look back historically.
Right. So what is an annuity?
Oh, annuity. So it's fixed income, right? And as interest rates are going up with banks, the fixed income is getting larger in annuities. So in that regard, it's good, right? So, and then you expose, let's say if you're my friend Steve's age, right? You would he's 70, something years old. So you would have less risk adverse to where he'd be getting more fixed income. Somebody his age, like myself, I would have, 40% in stocks and then the rest in fixed income. And I have a for real retirement stream.
Right.
Once I'm, I already have AT&T 401k. I worked there for a decade almost, but I'm just thankful that you have me. The real Slim Shady is finally here with the real tangible assets
Oh, heard that,
that people
man.
talk about owning, but I'm the actual guy that knows. Like I that's what I do to get a revenue stream, and that's why you can see me smiling today and chilling with you, is because I buy and sell. Like right now, I'm in the market to buy Kobe Bryant rookie cards that are mint condition or better, and also any U.S. gold coins that was circulated. And if it's in good condition, I pay more money. It's 22 karat gold. It was circulated until 1933.
Okay.
So I sell cards and coins, and I have a booth at the Kennel Club where I just, I buy and sell people's collections in some cases. But for me to take that risk on and pay somebody cash in this recessionary economy, I have to know that I can send it off to be authenticated by PSA or Beckett to get the most amount of money. But it's a pain in the ass. It takes, excuse me, it's all arse or whatever you want to
Oh,
call it.
you can
but-
fucking curse on here,
Oh,
man.
okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh, yeah, we don't have to deal with the FCC.
Oh, okay.
No, we're wide the fuck open, baby. Okay, so two things. One,
Yeah.
let's circle back to 40% in stocks and the rest in fixed income, right? So if you were somebody in your 70s and you had 40% of your retirement funds in stocks right now, you would be shitting a brick.
Well, not really, because like I just took profits on Microsoft, right? Everything's all monopoly money until you sell, right? So it's not a realized income.
Right. So
That's
you don't sell
taxable.
when it tanks, right?
No,
And people, they
you invest
panic
more
sell,
right,
right?
now. You want to invest more. I just
So
bought
what
Amazon,
would somebody do
Palantir.
if they're on fixed income annuity and they've got 40% of their retirement in the stocks? Stocks tank, crash. Do they take some of their fixed income to buy more stocks? Do they just ride it out?
Just
'cause
ride it out.
Some
I
people
mean, it's
are in the
still,
end of their life.
Fixed. Yeah, it's still a fixed income. So that's part of the reason what makes an annuity great is it's fixed income that you're going to get, because people our age, Blake, we cannot depend on Social Security. From my best sources at Merrill Lynch, Social Security at best case will be cut by 30% by the time you or I are eligible to actually receive it. So you can't
Some people
count
say
on
that
Social
that's
Security.
bullshit.
No, it's not. I mean, I know our country's in $20 trillion in debt.
I think
right?
30.
Is it 30?
I think we're $30
okay,
trillion
wow.
in debt.
I mean,
had
it's
my
just
friend
so irresponsible.
I had my friend Spencer Brady on here, and we talked about the Fed and how we're $30 trillion in debt, and it's not fucking good. And
No.
but so I'm getting older, right? 36 years old, and I'm married now, and I think about where would I park money if I wanted to create a revenue stream.
Yeah.
Right. Somebody was telling me the other day about
in stocks, for one investment in Amazon, for example, right? I just bought Amazon a couple of weeks ago. I'm already up money in this bad recession. We're in a recession, people. It's just clear as day. The market, when the stock market goes down 20 something percent, you got 100,000, let's say, then now you have 80,000, right? But it's still all monopoly money until you have to sell. So I always advise people to have an emergency fund, to have IRA accounts.
Have you ever heard of an I bond? Somebody was telling me about an I bond the other day. I think that's what it was called. It's not big money. I think it caps out at 10 grand. But they were telling me that it pays out 10%, almost 10% interest twice a year.
Really?
Yeah, but it's a government bond, and it's like they're not going to sell it anymore after October, which makes me a little.
Is it backed by the FICC? I think?
I don't know.
Because normally I don't invest, Blake. I don't invest in a company because I do options trading around. So I sell covered calls, right? So to get another revenue stream from like Amazon, for example, that I own in my portfolio, which I'm more than happy here to show anybody my Merrill Lynch account. That's the platform I use and trust. And I've never been hacked on it. Like I know people have been hacked with crypto. I've never had to experience looking at my account one day and it goes from, let's just say hypothetically, hundreds of thousands of dollars to nothing. Like, unfortunately, people in crypto have been punished more than anything. The market cap in crypto has eroded from, I think it was like 3 trillion to now 1 trillion, I think. And I mean, just a market cap.
Do you think it's going to come back?
I do, because when I notice I look at crypto in the market every single day, right? So I see the correlation between crypto and the market, S&P 500, let's say, right? So I notice when the stock market goes down, crypto goes down with it. So it's not gold 2.0 like people tried to allude to, that when all these people thought they were financial advisors because they knew crypto, right? And now, don't get me wrong, my best friend is the crypto king. I mean, he took profits off the top, didn't get greedy, and had me at his house. I just had
On Bitcoin?
Bitcoin. Yeah, he turned. I'm not going to say his name, but he's in our private group that we have, right? So he turned. I want to say it's 4,000 into like 1.3 million at the top.
That's crazy.
And he bought a house though, so he took a lot of profit. He was smart. If you take profits, like I've taken profits on Microsoft 5 times and without touching my principal, to just lock in, it helped my what's called dollar cost average, right?
Right.
My cost basis.
Right.
So I dollar cost average down right now. Like if Amazon were to go down more tomorrow, if Amazon were to go down, let's say they're about to report earnings too this week. Microsoft just reported earnings. I almost bought calls, as you know, this morning on Microsoft. It's up 3% after hours right now, but in calls, you got to times that by like 7 or 8.
What is a call?
So a call is where you're renting somebody's stock, right? So you're renting. It's like, think about it as like Blockbuster back in the day, right? So you're renting somebody's shares and you're paying premium to do so, but I've made this, like I said, this year I did the same thing. Instead I bought a put on the S&P 500.
And what's a put?
A put is when you like, if you buy, I bought a SPY put, right? Literally. And it went down, the S&P 500. I told everybody, I say in our private group, I say an ROI Kings percentage. As Blake and many other people know, I say every day what I think of my investments. I put myself on the line by saying I'm investing with my own money. And a lot of people in this recession, they don't want, in recessionary markets, technically, they don't want to show their returns. Like I show my ROIs, whether I'm right or wrong. The only one I've been wrong on is coin. But I'm still up 130% on Microsoft, for example, and I reinvested dividends, so you get more compounding interest over time.
Yeah.
And I really try to do, long-term investments. And I think right now, I mean, think about it this way, Blake. It was $3,000 to buy a share of Amazon, I think like 9 months ago, right? 10 months ago. And then Amazon split. So I was able to acquire over 100 shares. So then I can get an extra revenue stream by selling Amazon covered calls. I wouldn't do it right around earnings. Do that, but as soon as their earnings come out this week with Amazon, they're coming out with Apple. Today's a mega week on Wall Street earnings. I mean, mega week. Walmart just went down 7%. I own.
Have
Costco.
you been to a Walmart recently?
I feel bad for the people, honestly, that just to be transparent, that have to work there, because
I don't think anybody works at Walmart anymore.
Nah,
We work at Walmart.
Yeah,
I put up a video on my Instagram of me in line at Walmart, and it's like a maybe 75-yard, 100-yard line for us to stand in line to check out our own belongings.
Are you serious?
Yeah. No, there's two
cashiers.
Yeah, of 20 registers, there's 2 people working. The rest of the people are there just stocking, right? Putting shit on the shelves.
Yeah.
To me, this is a sign of what's to come. It's very, very. I don't know if it's
eroding away a lot of
communist.
jobs too.
I don't know if it's like communist or socialist, but it's like we're going to put this shit on the shelves. You know, there's no like customer service or sales, or
No.
you just go in, grab the cheap Chinese goods you want.
That's terrible.
Right? And pay at the front. And then the only person who really works there is the poor bastard at the front who has to check your receipt to
Right.
make sure you're not stealing stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, I saw a funny meme the other day that said, I'm sorry if I forgot to ring up one of my items. I literally started working here with no training.
Oh, that's great.
You haven't trained any of us on how to be a cashier.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
Because it's true.
It's weird.
True.
It's
and
weird.
you know what? People should shop more at places that take care of their employees, like Costco. I know a friend of mine that I met at a kava bar, right? And I got introduced to kava bars when I relocated here, and I was promoted with AT&T Corporate. Blake saw the provenance of, and I've got so many people that I was a top sales rep at AT&T Corporate out of 27,000 corporate sales reps, and that's how. I told Merrill Lynch, there may be people more educated than me applying for this position, but you can't teach a class, right, Blake, on that's going to guarantee that you're going to be the top sales rep for Fortune 10 company and AT&T Corporate, and I worked there for almost a decade. I have retirement. I wouldn't invest in their stock though right now. Unfortunately, I wish I could say to invest in there because they do pay a great dividend, but. I mean, T-Mobile really seems to be the best performing telecom stock.
I think maybe you can help me understand this. The Wall Street and the stock market, to me, is a very weird thing, right? Because people are investing in a lot of corruption, right? And people are investing their life savings into an idea, into something that's very emotional, right? One person can say one thing on Squawk Box or whatever, and
I watched that and endorsed that show, by the way.
okay, and the market and a stock can just plummet, right? Elon Musk goes on to Joe Rogan and takes half a puff of a joint, and the Tesla stock plummets because it's based on people's emotions.
Yeah, absolutely.
So why would a right-minded person put their money into something that could so easily crash based on hearsay, based on people's emotions?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. That's why I tell people to be careful in Tesla stock, because right now the S&P 500, Blake, is trading, and some people will get this. Some people I'll have to explain more, but the S&P right now is trading at like right around 14.5 times earnings. So I'm invested in Berkshire Hathaway Class B stock. The Class A stock's 400,000 a share, but I'm in the B, which is only 200 something a share right now, right? So I'm invested in them, and so you're diversified, and they're only trading at 7 times earnings, and they're 800 billion-dollar company. Microsoft is a $2 trillion market cap company I'm invested in still. I still love. They reported earnings today, and the news was Microsoft missed. I posted on ROI Kings percentage for Blake and everybody to see. I almost invested. I bought calls this morning in Microsoft. If I had, I'd be celebrating because I'd be up on the calls. I'd be up probably 50% already.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, ROI Kings is a private group that Rhett hosts, where he shares interesting news articles about different stocks, how they're performing. So if you're interested in getting into that group, it is a private group and it is kind of small and knit, but a tight-knit group, but you can message Rhett on Instagram. We'll give the information at the end of the podcast.
Well, Facebook and Telegram.
Telegram and on
app.
Facebook. We'll give that information at the end of the podcast.
Course. I appreciate
and
that.
if Rhett thinks that you're a good fit for the group, he might slide you in there.
Absolutely.
I noticed that you have a American flag here.
Yeah.
Want to tell me about that?
Absolutely. So my dad, my father, after I lost my mom and grandmother 3 months apart in 2016, my dad, I had to go through a 16-month fucking process with Arlington National Cemetery. It was very stressful. At one point, they threatened to cancel my dad's service, and I was relying on Bennett Funeral Home, and you know, I had already got my dad's DD 214 forms to see if he was qualified for Arlington, death certificates, everything else, and you know, it was a lot of responsibility given to me. But fortunately, I can say my dad had an amazing service. I mean, I have other stuff I can bring on here, but this is my dad's U.S. flag. He received Navy honors. My dad fought in the Vietnam War. Shout out to my dad. Rest in heaven is what I believe. I think my dad was a believer, and he knew people weren't God, right? So nobody is. So everybody's imperfect, right? But this is my dad's Arlington, which to me, it's, you know, I would not ever sell this, but this is an honor, a tribute to my dad, John Dale Tronti, and you know, he's just an amazing man, patriot. It really was God and country bringing the service together. I somehow got qualified to be buried next to my dad. They made me sign everything but a financial power of attorney, just about. I almost thought I was going to have to get an attorney involved at one point.
You can set that right up there if you want,
Yeah.
right up on the bar behind you. It'll be safe. Maybe put it, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to hear about the loss of your father.
Oh,
man.
thank you. Well, you guys really made it easier on me with all the stress I had going to Virginia and Arlington, and I had relatives from 5 different states fly in. It was just an honor, and I could not. Nobody deserved this honor to be immortalized in Arlington National Cemetery. I think more so than my father, my dad, right? So he made this possible. My dad also, without my dad, I could not ever be buried at Arlington National Cemetery because I'm not a war hero, right?
So is it for family members of war heroes?
So whoever goes through the lengthy process of bringing the ashes have to be 100%, or I'll say literally fucking turn you down, right? So I couldn't have like a urn for my dad's ashes, like even 10% of them, because if it's not 100%, they remind you plenty of times. Arlington does. Basically, what happens is they deny you.
So wait a minute, you're not allowed to keep some of the remains?
No, well, 100% of on my dad's, you know, we just had a service at Arlington. It has to be 100% of the remains, which is weird. I don't understand why that is, because I don't think John F. Kennedy, who's buried there, has 100% of his remains. He's buried at Arlington National Cemetery. You know, I'm looking at it. There's so many people and so much stuff going on and ceremonies that I didn't get a chance to visit John F. Kennedy's grave, but I would have loved, or will love. I'm going to be going to Arlington once a year. I have a lifetime pass, so it's free to go with me. Every year I'm going to be attending to visit my dad's gravesite and pay my respects, and you know, having any relative buried at the prestigious Arlington National Cemetery is incredible.
Yeah, it's a
the way
huge
they
honor.
treat you, veteran.
It's a huge honor, man, and I appreciate you sharing that flag with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, my pleasure.
I sadly also own one of those flags.
Do you?
Yeah, my brother was 10 years in the Army, 2 terms in Baghdad, was a part of the original invasion into Iraq. If you've ever seen the movie American Sniper.
Yes, I've seen that. It's great. It has Bradley Cooper in it, right?
Yeah, it's an excellent film. I think at one point in the movie they show a map of Iraq of where they are, and it says Sadr City, and that's where my brother was, and it was some of the most gruesome early on.
I'm so sorry to hear
firefights. Thank you. And then so my brother survived the war. He actually received a Bronze Star for saving his commanding officer's life.
Wow.
And then, but the scars of war he held within him, and he unfortunately ended up on some pretty hard drugs. The Army diagnosed my brother with narcolepsy because he was falling asleep during his 24-hour shifts.
I see.
He was exhausted. He had a toddler and an infant. His wife gets deployed to Afghanistan, and he had to work 24 hours on, 24 hours off.
Oh, wow.
And he would fall asleep at the end of his 24-hour shift.
Who wouldn't?
So the Army says, you have narcolepsy. So we're going to give you jugs of liquid GHB to go to sleep, which, if you don't know, that's the date rape drug.
No shit.
A cap full.
That's what Bill Cosby used.
Maybe so. He wouldn't.
Wow.
He'd deny that. And then they gave him Adderall to stay awake.
Okay.
Well, he got busted out of the military for continuing to fall asleep on his ships, and he ends up in El Paso, Texas, on heroin and meth.
No shit. Are you serious?
Yeah, because he couldn't get his medication,
Oh
and
my
these are the
gosh,
closest things to that. He was sober for 2 years.
Okay.
Got sober for 2 years, and I guess had a weak moment and decided to get high. It was fentanyl. It killed him. 33 years old.
33?
Yeah, 33 years old.
That's
in
a significant
2016.
number. You know that, right? Too.
Yeah,
Like,
I see 333 all the time.
Yeah.
and whatnot. But they presented my father with one of those flags, and he's given it to me, and we have it on a mantle at
it's
home,
an extraordinary honor.
it's a huge honor, and
congratulate. He deserves it.
thank you. And we couldn't be sitting here having this conversation if it wasn't for the sacrifices of the men and women who have signed up to protect our freedoms.
No question.
So I thank your father in heaven for fighting in the Vietnam
thank you
War.
so much.
And I know that's just a huge honor.
appreciate
I know it's
it.
been
You know
really
that.
stressful for you
Yeah,
too.
it has.
To say the least.
It's been very difficult. Pulling off, getting into Arlington is like an act of God. That's why I use the phrase that, God and country really did make this happen. I would have had no shot at getting into Arlington when I pass away. Hopefully, knock on wood, that's not anytime soon, Blake. But
No, you got shit to do this week, man.
I know,
You're too
I've got a
busy.
lot. Yeah, I've got to study. I'm
Too
studying a
busy.
lot.
We need the. What are you studying for?
214, and I'm studying.
Is that what this book is? I thought you were just doing some leisure reading here.
No. So at Merrill Lynch, this is what you have to learn. This whole book, which anybody can look at all the pages. It's the most difficult exam I've ever studied for in my entire life by far. The Series 7 you have to be sponsored for. Not just anybody can take it, but I'm getting my Series 65, which will enable me to manage. Not saying I will, but I will legally. I'll be able to manage up to 100 million in addition to selling with the Series 214. Annuities and life insurance,
Right.
living benefit. You can borrow from this life insurance too, by the way.
Yeah.
While you're alive, that's why it's called a living benefit. And of course, you in these economic times, you certainly want life insurance for your loved ones that you love. You don't want them to get homeless or. I was living at the district, right? My ex-girlfriend, who I won't even say her by name, but
Later, gentlemen.
She was a phenomenal teacher. She is a phenomenal teacher. I would never, ever take that. She was teacher of the year, I think, in the state of Florida at one point. She got her master's degree, my ex-girlfriend. And she has a dog that's really my dog, but I paid all the vet bills and, for our dog, Darwin. I was with Darwin every day.
Darwin's an interesting name for a Christian's dog.
Well, my ex-girlfriend is Jewish. So
I see.
Her and I would clash,
chosen people.
Yeah, exactly. And I learned a lot about the Jewish culture at Merrill Lynch. Look.
From what I understand, if you put
Jewish people.
so my dad's Jewish,
anybody.
My mom's Catholic.
Yeah.
I was raised split ways, part ways. But if you were to put your tinfoil hat on, some people say the Jews run the world.
Financially, they only do business with each other. It's very hard to crack the Jewish community. I know I tried and failed in some degrees. In some cases, I didn't. Right, but. It is very hard, and especially like Boca Raton, where my boss wants me to run my office out of. And by the way, I'm hiring sales executives that are pure salesmen that can shake somebody's hand and get deals done. I'm
hiring them for what company?
We work with Fidelity. We work with Berkshire Hathaway. I've got to get anybody approved. I'm only a partial decision maker, so my boss has to approve this as well.
Right.
You'll get so much information, but you have to the qualifier. Everybody, and you can make as much money as you want in this business, and it's about relationships, right? So
All sales are.
it is. I mean, I give people money like yourself, right? I come to your kava bar. The reason why is because I like you. If I didn't like you, I would, or I felt disrespected. You're not that type of person. You've always given me genuine love and support, and everybody knows I'm going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
It's been very difficult. I had to keep my dad's ashes for 16 months and have to worry about somebody potentially robbing me. Like I got robbed in Virginia over a Michael Jordan autograph. Fortunately, I still have more Michael Jordan autographs that are certified, authenticated. I'm selling a Michael Jordan rookie right now that I've seen sell for 70 grand. Right now, I think at Golden Auctions it'll sell for 30,000.
Okay.
6 years ago, you're never supposed to say what you pay before the sale.
Right. Wait till afterwards. Well, don't tell them yet.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Let's talk about tangible assets, specifically trading cards. Okay. I'm very ignorant, right? But I'm curious.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't
There's
know.
money to be made.
Yeah, but what I can't figure out is why. No offense, right? But why is a small piece of card stock, no signature, right? I'm talking no signature.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
No signature,
that's
worth $100,000.
Well, if the
This is
autograph
also very
from
emotional, right?
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's a passion, right? If you want to be successful buying and selling sports cards, you have to know business. It's passionate. Like there are certain things, items that I possess, tangible assets that I would love to keep in my safety deposit box. One of them being the one I showed you because I trusted you enough to show it to you, and I of course respect you.
Which one was that?
Tremendous amount. The Julius Caesar is
I haven't had a
coin.
chance. I didn't see that.
No way. Ask Steve.
Yeah.
But
So wait, let's talk about that. A Julius Caesar.
yeah, it's pre-Christianity.
It's a coin.
It's a coin that was minted in Rome, and it's
No
a 5
shit.
out of 5 strike. It's an
What does that
AU
mean?
condition.
5 out of 5
so, so back then, over 2,000 years ago, people had to strike a mint, like mintage, right, for Rome. This is pre-Christ, and it would have been interesting to see what Julius Caesar and Cleopatra, if they were alive long enough to see what they thought of Jesus, right? I always find that fascinating. But Julius Caesar, if you talk to any historian, he's probably top 3 most famous people to ever walk the earth. Cleopatra is the
How
most
old was
powerful
Julius
woman.
Caesar when he died?
I think he was. He got assassinated by Brutus, and Brutus got the Senate to come on his side, and Brutus ended up committing suicide shortly
Let's
after
see
because everybody rebelled. I want to say like 54. is
Oh,
my
close.
guess.
55.
55.
55.
Okay, I was off
How
by
about
1 year.
Alexander the Great? You heard of him, right?
Yeah, oh, of course.
How old was Alexander the Great when he died?
Oh, was he? He's a
32.
fascinating person. No way.
32 years old. So what I was getting
Get
at
outta
there
here.
is that, Julius Caesar was much older or was
Yeah,
older.
Well,
right?
yeah. Yep.
But
That's true.
there are men throughout history who carved a crater through time, will never be forgotten. Were
The
written in
legends.
the history books.
Yeah.
And some of them died before the age of 40. Is that
so sad?
Well,
Kobe
to me,
passing away hit me hard.
what's sad is how little people accomplish in this day and age. Right?
Absolutely.
If
Yeah,
this guy was only given 32 years
Think
to
about
conquer
if
the
he would've
known
had-
world,
Yeah.
right?
He's incredible. I would love to have one.
when
of his
I was
coins.
32, I couldn't figure out which way was up or down.
Yeah. It's just maturation process.
What's
right?
that word?
Maturation
I don't know.
process.
What's that
So
word?
it's just a maturity, like
Ah.
what you're very successful. I
Well
don't mind
said.
saying that.
Yeah,
Right.
no, I'm not very successful.
You-
I am
you
what
do
we
very
are is creating something that hopefully one day will make us very successful. But right now we're just having a good time, and we're paying our bills.
I'm enjoying
We're paying our
this
bills.
podcast, by the way. I
Yeah,
just wanna
thanks.
let
Likewise,
you know.
man.
And I
Likewise.
appreciate you letting me advertise my brand.
Yeah.
And because on LinkedIn, I'm going to put this on LinkedIn, my LinkedIn page, if you don't mind. If it's your podcast, you have the rights to it.
This episode is our podcast,
okay.
my friend,
Okay.
and I would love that.
Yeah.
Something I want to talk to you about is I know you've been going through a lot, And I know that personally, you've had some challenges,
No
right?
question. Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah.
And I know some of your close friends have been a little worried about you.
Yeah. My mom, Blake, inherited a small lottery from my grandmother. And my mom was a psychologist, right? My mom would never, ever commit suicide, ever. And so I started getting alerts from Richmond that, oh, my mom's going crazy, but yet she just inherited the keys to the castle, so to speak, in terms of house, land, 3 cars. I gave 2 of the cars away to my grandfather. What up, Grandpa? And I just saw him. But yeah, it's been very challenging. It's very eye-opening. There's some people that really came through for this service that I'm very thankful for, including family, the Tronti family. We had, like I said, relatives from 5 states. I didn't even know I had relatives in Alabama and Ohio until the service. So it was, it's a big thing. People want to be a part of it. And some people, to be completely transparent, my dad didn't even know.
Right.
Or have a relationship with. So it's a little odd from hearing their side of the story. It was great from my dad's sister, who he loved, Donna, blood sister, right? I let her put my dad's ashes in Arlington over myself, just to show her that, I am a humble person, God-fearing person. I don't think I'm the smartest guy in everything at all. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I'm not always right.
Right.
I think, but numbers don't lie. I mean, my numbers, what the ROIs that I generate are still incredible. I just don't see any other financial advisors getting, numbers don't lie, folks. Like,
I think one thing to keep in mind, right? Because we're friends, and I care about you.
Yeah,
and
I
I've
care
been
about
watching you have some challenges, and we live in this new day and age where we can share our thoughts with a huge network of people.
Absolutely.
Right? And that can either be very positive thing, or it could potentially be detrimental.
Sure.
And I'm coming from a place of, I know this personally. For a long time, I used social media as a personal diary. Right? Because I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was a way for me to share my views, beliefs, thoughts, right? In retrospect, I realized that some of the things I shared, I should have shared with a trusted confidant.
Yeah. You got to be careful you trust.
Or written it in a journal and not shared it, because we put stuff online that can potentially be there forever. Right?
Correct.
So as a friend.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. No, that's great advice.
And I don't want anybody to discredit those ROIs you're talking about.
Right.
Based on having a rough night.
Right.
And I'm saying this to you because I care about you, man.
No, yeah, I love you, man.
Yeah, same.
You and Danielle,
likewise.
Believe in me. You're taking the time out to have this podcast with me.
I think you're an interesting dude, Rhett. I think you're an interesting dude, and I can relate with you in a way where sometimes I have, not to sound weird, I have great ideas, right? My mind works in a very interesting way where it's constantly firing. And, 1 out of every 15 ideas I have is a good one. Great one, maybe. But that gift also comes with a curse of our minds convincing us about things, and I've had challenge with that where I convince myself of things that weren't necessarily happening.
True, yeah.
And then I posted,
right.
Paranoia is like a curse of the brilliant.
It's terrible.
Right? Have you ever seen the movie A Beautiful Mind?
I have, yeah.
Oh.
Matt
No.
Damon, right?
No, that
A
is
Beautiful Mind. Good Will Hunting.
That's Good Will Hunting.
That was a great movie.
That's a
by the way.
How you like them apples?
How do you like them apples?
You like apples? I got a number.
Boston.
How you like them apples? No,
They just start
Beautiful
dropping
Mind
those
is
R's.
Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Russell
Oh
Crowe.
yeah, that's right. That's right. I have to rewatch that. And
You should watch Beautiful
I
Mind.
think it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe, I do remember watching it. Did a phenomenal job.
Yeah. Well, I just want you to be mindful of what you share on social media.
No, I got to be
because
more careful.
Yeah, because some of us are looking to you for potential financial advice.
Of course.
Well, whenever you're legally able to give it.
Yeah, which I will be in like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
3 weeks. So all I'd have to do is I'm already passing the Series 7, which I showed earlier. So that's the
You're
hardest
already
one.
passing it?
Almost.
Okay.
I'm like 80% of the way there.
Okay.
Right. So you have to score 72 to pass. Nobody cares how high you score on it. Really, even the firms.
Right.
They just want you to freaking pass it, right?
Yeah.
So I know people that are still working at Merrill Lynch. I won't say anybody's name. I certainly don't want to get sued and make my life more complicated. But I know people there that didn't get their series, they couldn't pass the Series 7, and they're still working there. Do you know why they're still working there? Because they had one relationship in Palm Beach Island where they know, and somebody that's worth, let's say, 25 million trusts them, right?
Yeah.
So you cannot do shit. Basically, Merrill Lynch has artificial intelligence doing some trades.
I'll go back to the I'm a moron thing. You keep
Yeah.
mentioning Merrill Lynch.
Yeah.
And since I've known you, you have this affinity, if I'm using that term in the right way, for Merrill Lynch.
Yeah, I do believe in me.
What is Merrill Lynch for
Yeah.
those of us who have
sure.
no idea what it is?
So it's a wealth management arm for Bank of America. So
Okay.
Bank of America, Merrill Lynch used to be its own entity and corporation, right? And then in the financial crisis of 2008, the Great Recession, right? So whereas we're not going to have anything close to 2008, people.
Unless you're an ape and you believe in the MOAS. Do
Yeah.
you know about the MOAS?
No.
The mother of all short squeezes?
Oh yeah,
GameStop?
GameStop. Yeah, I know some people that made some money in that, but it's very speculative.
Well, some people believe that GameStop is just beginning, and that
Really?
it could go to $100 million a share.
I mean, I have people telling me that about that even friends of mine, loved ones of mine that are smarter than I am potentially. But I was telling you about my friend John who had all that success, right? So in crypto, and he tells me everything.
Yeah.
So when he talks, like in our group, right? I don't talk. I listen when he talks about crypto because I think you can still make. I'm still in Polygon, right? I'm still in
What's
Coin.
Polygon?
Polygon
is that a type of
is a
crypto?
utility, for Ether, right? So it makes transactions go through quicker. So it actually has a real. It's not like other coins out there that have went to nothing. I mean, people. I feel terrible for people that I only invested 3% of my overall portfolio into crypto. So I still have money in crypto, and I'm just not selling it. I'm down money in Polygon. I'm down, and but it doesn't matter unless I sell it while it's down, right? So I think it'll go back up. I think it will. I believe so. But I notice we're seeing a big rotation in the markets, and it's just so evident of people selling crypto and buying equities, like companies that are tangible, right? That you can look at, like Amazon or Microsoft that I'm investing in, Apple and Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett, the genius, right?
Yeah.
And
I actually have a friend, very young kid. He's got to be in his early 20s, if he's even 20. And what he does, this is very interesting. He works with a certain government in the world, I think a South American government, securing capital from people who have their money in crypto, right? They pull the money out of crypto. He invests it in small businesses in South America.
smart.
And then gets a better return on that money to then put back into crypto. If I'm saying that correctly, I'm going to try to have him on. Shout out Jack.
Jack, what's
our
up,
buddy
man?
Jack.
I'd love to speak to you, Jack.
He's fucking
I'd love to
brilliant.
speak to him, yeah.
He's a good friend of mine, Kyle Bancroft. Kyle was on this podcast. You may have met Kyle. Kyle's also a young kid. He has this business called Soaring Finances.
Really?
Yeah, and he started a Discord where
Okay.
you can join the Discord, and he kind of gives not financial advice, but I shouldn't I shouldn't say, because I don't want to say the wrong thing, but check out Kyle Bancroft on social media.
Is he on LinkedIn?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like my most robust social networking site is on LinkedIn by far,
Okay.
more so than Facebook. That's why if you notice, if you go to my LinkedIn page, you'll see how many people endorse me for leadership. You'll see everything, references. And I have, I don't know, a couple thousand people on LinkedIn, a lot of CEOs, a lot of CFOs. Like my LinkedIn network is powerful. I get 100 notifications a day just from my LinkedIn profile. And,
dude, they actually, sorry, side note.
No.
I'm talking about Kyle Bancroft.
yeah, I'm sorry.
YouTube fucking pulled down our podcast.
What the fuck? How's
Well,
that
first of all, I love
possible?
YouTube because it allows us to link with you know, an audience, a huge audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we had a conversation on our podcast about the pandemic.
Yeah.
And about potentialities of where it came from and what it is, right? And the podcast got pulled down a couple months later for medical misinformation.
What?
Yeah, and I watched it back, and you know, I talk about some potential therapeutics that were kind of that we shouldn't say the name of because they'll pull this podcast down.
Wow.
Believe it or not.
Oh yeah, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah, but if you guys are interested in watching that, those who are watching now, I'm gonna post that on. There's a I think it's called Rumble. There's a site called Rumble.
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
I'm going to post that conversation on Rumble.
Yeah, okay.
So that people can check it out.
Yeah,
because my thing is anytime, you know, you deal with censorship and you deal with a large tech company pulling down. Listen, that podcast had like 50 views. I'm not reaching some sort of huge audience.
It's not like it's 50,000 views,
and
right?
it was
Where you
pulled
get monetized.
pulled down. So one, it's a little wild that there's not somebody sitting somewhere watching that. That was an algorithm that pulled down my podcast. It must have recognized keywords.
Yes.
And then no like, hey, we're going to edit this 15-second part out of your hour and a half long podcast. It just deleted it. It's gone. I have no episode 10. I think it's episode 10. It's gone.
It almost sounds like you're hacked.
No. YouTube sent me a fucking notification that said your podcast.
Get the fuck out of here. Where's freedom of speech going?
So here's the thing.
Is there no more freedom of speech anymore?
Here's the thing. Is that so? Their argument is that they are a private company, and they don't fall under the freedom of speech, law because it's a private company. But my opinion is, and the opinion of others is that YouTube and Twitter and these large tech companies have kind of become more like a utility, right? Like a public square, a town square where people are having these conversations. It is the place where people communicate ideas now,
absolutely.
Right? So it's less of a private business and more of a public utility. And if you and I have a conversation through an AT&T phone line about what our thoughts are on politics or AT&T's not going to fucking cut off our phone line.
No.
It's a public utility.
It's a public utility.
So I think there needs to be conversations had about what we can say on. Now, listen, I understand dangerous misinformation, but I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan, and many of you guys
you remind me of Joe Rogan.
Well, I will take that as a compliment, but I think I'm far behind what he's accomplished.
Well, it's just a Rolodex, right? He just has a different Rolodex.
Well,
right?
it's also like 20, 30 years of hard work. He's in his 50s,
right?
So,
that's true.
And he's also
amazing.
Yeah, he's great, but he I think I lost my line of
train of
thought. We
Joe
were talking,
Rogan.
but we were talking about public utilities,
public utilities,
and free speech.
Free speech, which I'm for, by the way. Nobody should be muzzled. Like I was muzzled when my brief time at Merrill Lynch. I can only offer stocks that Merrill Lynch had buy ratings on, even if I thought another stock would make you more money. So I'm no longer muzzled is a nice thing.
Right.
I have more autonomy than I ever have.
Right.
And as you can tell, I'm just studying as much as I can, because if I can pass a Series 7, I mean, it's easy to pass a Series 65. And then 214 is another animal, but that's what I'm working on with my boss, my superiors. That's what I'm working on now. Is getting that. I should have in 2 weeks, like I said, not to be redundant, but
yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. I lost my train of thought. The people who are watching, it's so
Yeah.
funny. They're screaming it at the fucking screen, like they know what I was saying. But yeah, I think free speech is under attack, under assault.
Oh, no question.
And I think that dangerous conspiracy theories. Oh, you know what? This is it. Joe Rogan says that the answer to bad speech is better speech. Right. So instead of
Leadership, yeah.
instead of if I say something you don't agree with, silencing me is not the answer. Telling me your stance
Yeah.
and saying, no, let me explain this to you, right? You need to allow people to make their own decisions about what's real and what's not. And we don't need these like truth czars saying that this is misinformation, which is often just not like misinformation. You find out 6 months later that, oh, that actually was the case. Like if you were to talk about the potential lab leak theory for COVID, right? Some people think that there's a potentiality that COVID was accidentally leaked from a lab in China, right?
Oh, well, the Wuhan, China is what I'm. The best source is that the smartest people I basically listen to. I always try to, like people like Blake. I try to. One goal I've always had in life is to surround myself with people who I feel are smarter than I am in
Right.
a lot of different areas that complement me.
Right.
I'm the financial guy. But there's other people that have it, as engineer on our private group,
Yeah.
who's way smarter than probably both of us,
Right.
right? So he designs rockets for Jeff Bezos, literally.
No shit.
He can probably get him on, possibly. I don't know. I don't want to put
Yeah, that
pressure
would
and
be
lose a
cool.
relationship.
No, that would
but
be
my
cool.
buddy Allian could maybe get Jeff Bezos. Like if I could do a 30-second pitch to him, you just never know, right? So I've already asked for Lori Grenier because I love one of my dreams, Blake, is I watch Shark Tank all the time.
And so do I.
As you learn from it, right?
That's right.
And real business and valuations.
That's
and
right.
Proof of concept.
Yeah.
And what shark is the best to work with? Cybersecurity is Rob Hirschbeck.
Yeah.
If you're going just for a cool business partner like you would be a great, cool business partner, right?
Oh, well, you obviously haven't worked with me.
Mark Cuban, it would be that guy. Lori Grenier, if you have a product that is a QVC, she's the best to go with.
Right.
But she gives a lot of her businesses, I've noticed, she only really invests in women like a lot, gets excited.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
But that's
let me
good.
just circle back on misinformation, right? So if you would have came out and said that your opinion was that it came out of a lab at the beginning of this, you would have been censored and pulled down for misinformation.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
But now,
you're right.
this is the main theory.
Right.
Right? So this is
China did this on purpose.
Well, see, but just by you saying that, just by you saying that, this podcast could be potentially be removed.
Oh, I don't want that. So,
isn't that wild?
We just had COVID, guys. Like everything's okay.
Thank God.
Thank God.
I feel terrible for anybody who lost a family member.
No question. Absolutely.
But it was a weird fucking time.
It was weird, man. I mean, people went crazy being locked up in their fucking houses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Death rates are up across the board, and they can't really figure out exactly why that is. Like, if you were to say this time 4 years ago, the average people that die around the world each month is up like 30%.
Are you serious?
Yeah. From all different things. People are dying from all different things.
Wow.
It's just a higher death rate, but I think you can account, some of it can be accounted for from depression or from, because they couldn't go to the hospital because of, they put certain surgeries and certain things on hold because of COVID and whatnot. We live in a whole new world that is sometimes a little bit scary, but also I feel a little bit honored to be living in this pivotal time that we're in.
Oh, I agree.
Because we're going to be able to. This is a highly historical time that will be written in the history books. And I'm really interested to see how it's portrayed 20 years from now.
Me too.
They say that history is written by the victor.
Yeah.
Well, it's
That's right.
written by the winners,
It
right?
is. Yeah.
So I'm interested to see who writes the history books about these past couple years.
I don't like in the school system. My ex-girlfriend was a teacher, Blake, and I really don't like in the school system how they don't teach about Romans and Julius Caesar and Alexander the Great.
What do you mean they don't?
Right?
I learned about that in school.
I did too, but now they're changing like how they teach history, right?
Really?
Yeah. From my understanding, I
Right.
could be wrong, but that's what I've been told.
Right.
And if that's the case, that's a freaking shame, because history, you learn a lot from history, right? Even the bad guys in history, like Joseph Stalin, or, you learn not to let something happen again that happened historically.
Right.
His history does repeat itself sometimes. And, I just put out the vibe of peace and love, and, I'm going to.
You have to, man. Love wins.
Love wins. It does. It does.
Yeah, well, it's this day and age we live in of like these like cancel culture,
Yeah,
and
it's terrible.
You can get canceled for saying your opinion.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think anybody should, attack other people or say terrible things about.
No,
but
and
people
never label anybody either.
Right,
That's
but people
not
are
fair.
entitled to their opinion.
Yeah, sure. Everybody has their opinion.
But the fact that you could get canceled for saying something, and then here's the thing with these cancel mobs, right? So, one, I don't think anybody should ever say or be racist or say anything racist, and there's no explanation for it, right? But I was watching this show. My wife and I are fans of trash reality TV. We fucking love it. There's this one show called
It's entertainment.
Oh, it's fantastic. There's this one show that's called Southern Charm.
Oh, I love Southern Charm.
Yeah?
Are you kidding me? I've had a girl that tried to give me too much of a compliment to blow my head up. Tell me, I can even, you know who she is, but
Okay.
I won't reveal her name.
Right.
But she was like, you need to get on Southern Charm. And I was like, are you serious? Because I have a little bit of a country accent,
Right.
but you can barely detect it, because I trained myself to lose that accent.
Right.
Because some people don't like perceived Southern guys, right?
Oh, interesting.
And
So hear me out. So I'm watching Southern Charm. I'm
Yeah.
watching season 7.
It's a great show.
Reunion, right? And season 7 happened during the beginning of the pandemic, and then all of the upheaval that was happening the summer of 2020 with statues being pulled down and riots, and that terrible thing that happened with Floyd.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was his name?
Floyd.
Oh, I feel
what was
terrible.
his
I can't
name?
remember his
Floyd,
name. I think Floyd was the last name.
But Floyd was, I think, the first name, right? Or was it? Yeah, I mean, he
George Floyd.
George Floyd,
That
yeah.
horrendous
That
killing
was
of George
terrible.
Floyd. Okay, so here's what happens in the reunion show on Southern Charm. There's a girl on there who said some terrible shit on Twitter. She used like a monkey emoji when referring to a black person. It's absolutely hideous and horrendous, right? There's another girl on there who
Oh my
tried
God.
to like teach her about the error of her ways, right? Listen, this is not okay. It doesn't matter what context you think you did it in. This is disgusting, but we've been friends for a long time, and I believe that you can grow and change, and you can recognize what
absolutely.
you did wrong and apologize and move forward, right? Well, this girl says, do you understand how many death threats I've gotten because I'm not canceling you? So, and then they just
Really?
continue on the conversation. And I'm thinking, wait a minute. Let's unpack that a little bit. So what you're saying is the cancel mob that you are not a part, that you are normally a part of, but not this time, is sending you death threats, and nobody wants to talk on that, right? The left, who's supposed to be peace and love and unity and acceptance, is sending death threats to their own
Oh my gosh.
for not canceling, right? This is the day and age we live in, where you can get death threats for not, for believing that your friend can change. Nobody wants to talk about that.
It's a shame. I mean, people, especially with mental illness, right? I mean, my dad, I can tell you right now, had PTSD. People, all my family and close friends, they wanted me to tell all these war stories, but I asked my dad about it, and he was like, he doesn't even like, it was so bad in Vietnam, he doesn't even like to speak on it when he was alive, right? So I wish I had. I got some mafia stories from him, but he grew up he was Italian, full Italian. I'm not, and he grew up in when the mob still had real power, right?
Yeah.
So, and he was around and influenced by some of that, and dealt with some made guys, right? And like real deal, and but it's terrible. I mean, the mafia's terrible. I'm not condoning the mafia at all. Fortunately, Rudy Giuliani, whether you like him or not, got got rid of the mob, right? For the most part.
Yeah, I'm so ignorant on it. I don't know.
Oh, I got you.
I
Understood.
don't know. All right, let me ask you this. If you had one thing that you could tell our listeners right now about yourself, about the future of finance,
Yeah.
what would you say?
I would say right now is a historical opportunity to invest in the stock market right now. I'm investing with my own money. I'm very transparent. Blake knows this. About my wins and losses. I'm not always right, but historically, long term, I've always been right, right? So, because I diversify, I don't never put all your eggs in one basket. Like if you talk to any really rich person, for example, they don't give one person everything, right? They'll give him, here's $1 million, here's $1 million, here's $1 million, right? To financial advisors,
Right.
And that's how normally it works. So like even at Merrill Lynch, they didn't give you all of their assets in some cases, in a lot of cases, because they want their money diversified over different platforms.
So you would say diversify and take advantage of this historical
opportunity
where
right
we
now.
we are at the precipice of a real market crash, a real crash within the next 18 months. And this is a great opportunity to invest.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
You could change your life.
Absolutely. And if it goes down more, like Amazon, Palantir Technologies, I just invested in. I just add to my long-term position. Uber, which is riskier. They're not profitable yet, so they're not in the black, right? But I chose Uber over Lyft just because they have more revenue streams, right? So they have the Uber Eats, where Lyft doesn't really take advantage of that. Right. So Uber, I think, will be profitable quicker than Lyft will, but Lyft isn't a bad investment. Amazon is a phenomenal investment right here. Phenomenal, I think. And it's not just me speaking. I mean, I talk to CFPs and get their thoughts on what I invest in. I contact a mentor from Merrill Lynch. I get their thoughts, right? I get everything that a Merrill Lynch financial advisor gets, right? I get all that because I'm a client. I have multiple brokerage accounts with them. And, I have since I started working with them. But I don't work for Merrill Lynch now, just so everybody knows.
Right.
But I will be selling once licensed annuities, which are very important, right? To have an extra retirement revenue stream, right?
Right.
When you're no longer able to physically work, right? So I'm not afraid of work. Just my mom passed away at 52, had me at 16, and when I got the news about my mom, it was just so devastating, and I was just in shock. And Sorry, my grandmother passed away 3 months prior, and she was like the patriarch of our family. My grandmother was, right?
Matriarch.
Matriarch, not patriarch.
Patriarch is going to be the male version.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry.
Matriarch would be the female version.
Okay, I got you.
It's only one of the little things I've come across that I think that's right.
Yeah, no, I love to learn. You know that.
Rhett, if people want to
reach out to me on ROI Kings percentage, because I post every day.
So what is ROI Kings? That's our group?
Yeah, that's our group.
So, but they can't reach out to you, or they can through Telegram.
Yeah, through Telegram. I'll approve like anybody that I think is a good. What we do, folks, in my group, right? That's growing. It's a growing group. Okay, it's been around for, I think I created it like 2 months ago, maybe.
Okay, yeah, it's very young still.
So it's still very young, right? But I don't approve everybody. I try to have people advertise their business like Blake, right? Because I try to help. I'm in the business of helping good people and doing business with good people. That's very important to me, because the most power you really have is where you spend your money, right?
Yeah.
So so it makes that's why I buy at Costco. We were talking about Walmart earlier. Circle back to that real quick. And Costco, I know a guy that pushes carts for 22 years that gets paid like $25 an hour at Costco. He's got like $600,000 in his 401k still, and he pushes carts. But see, Costco, that's why I buy and invest in Costco, is they believe they treat their employees. They're an example of how to really treat employees, right? That are pushing carts, cashiers, stockers. Costco is great company. I think their price earnings ratio is a little bit too high. But right now, but like I said, I just literally invested in Amazon, Palantir, Uber. I was looking at Microsoft calls today, like I was explaining earlier, and I can answer any follow-up questions.
Yeah. So that'll be through ROI Kings.
ROI Kings. It's where I explain on Telegram.
And then should people reach out to you through Facebook or through LinkedIn?
Absolutely. People feel free to reach out to me. Like before I get a muzzle on my mouth and I'm licensed.
Right.
It's very important to get as much information out of me as you can. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to change but there's compliance involved.
Yeah.
There's things that I will not be able to say once I get licensed. I can't be this candid on camera, like I can now.
Right. It makes a lot of sense.
Rhett,
I think you are a very, very interesting, brilliant, and really fun guy, man.
Yeah,
I appreciate you sitting down with me today and kind of educating me and our audience a bit on kind of the state of the market and what you like, what you don't like, and telling us his story about your father, which is just highly commendable, man.
Thank you.
I just appreciate you very much.
I appreciate you very much.
We'll share all your social media links in the description of the video below.
I would like to also come back on here as well.
Okay, so, we'll do it. We'll set it up for a few months down the road.
Yeah, I just have to keep it clean with no cuss words. But I don't care. Like, people can denigrate me if they want it's just how I speak, people. It's how I was raised. I was raised by a war hero.
It's like a conversation with salt and pepper. That's all. Just a little bit of seasoning in there.
Yeah.
Rhett, thank you so much for joining us today, dude. This has been fantastic. Oh, coming in hot. You pulled the Trump.
I know. I'm just trying to hug you.
I love you too, man. You pulled the Trump. If you guys haven't seen the videos of Trump shaking hands and pulling people into him, Rhett, no, in a good way. It's a way of showing dominance and assertion.
Well, I didn't trying to do that.
I'm just messing with you, man.
I appreciate you, man.
Thank you very much, Rhett. Nothing but love. You
Peace
guys,
and love,
thanks
everybody.
for being a fly on the wall during this conversation.
Absolutely.
Make sure you go follow Rhett on ROI Kings, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. We'll have all the information below, down here somewhere. Like, comment, subscribe.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Hit the little notification bell so you get notifications when I start rambling. And we just thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
I thank you for this opportunity. It's a platform.
Absolutely.
You put in a lot of work to this, and you're phenomenal.
Thanks, man. It's been a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun conversations. It's been an education for me. And we just finished our 50th episode. You're episode 51.
Am I?
So you're the first of the next 50. We're pushing to 100, and who knows where it'll go. And we can't do any of this without you guys watching.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you guys so much,
everybody, for the time.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
It. Yeah.
Yeah, later, y'all. Boola.
Later. Boola.